This was 3 hours ago. Got a little bit of Charlie Kirk lore.
Doubling down on hate in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Posters advertising.
That's what drives me crazy. You do realize the only political group that celebrate when Nazis die, you do realize that by assassinating and killing your political opponents, that makes you a dictator? You do realize that Vladimir Putin does the same thing whenever he has a political opponent going into office? He does the same thing. He makes them disappear. It's crazy how they can call one side Nazis, but they act like a dictatorship. That's insanity.
Georgetown University's John Brown Gun Club have appeared on campus, and they read, quote, "Hey, fascist, catch." That's a reference to the message that was written on the shell casing.
That's disgusting, dude. That's so disgusting.
Used by the man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk. The poster told people to join the, quote, only political group that celebrates when Nazis die. Unbelievable. Students were horrified, with some saying they feared for their safety.
Oh, yeah, they should. That's horrifying. That was out of school. That's terrifying. That's awful.
Obviously, I read this immediately as a threat, not only for me, but for everyone on this campus, every conservative, everyone who just does not subscribe to the prevailing leftist orthodoxy. This is a direct threat against them. It means that there are students at this campus who would want to see conservatives dead rather than engaging with their ideas, rather than facilitating a political discourse.
And Education Secretary Linda McMahon was outraged, saying that allowing violent rhetoric to fester on our nation's campuses without consequences is dangerous.
It is. It's dangerous and it's disgusting. You're supposed to be able to go to I remember whenever you used to be able to go to college and not have to worry about riots blocking up the library, or you were able to go to a college campus and actually go to school, you know, that thing that you have to pay thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars in order to get. And now it just is another device used to advocate for death and violence. It just, why? Why? What? Like, I really hope they got these guys, right? There's no way they didn't.
Georgetown releasing a statement this morning which reads, Georgetown University has no tolerance for calls for violence or threats to the university.
And it's not freedom of speech to advocate for death and violence. Why? I don't understand how they managed to pull 3 lines, like two or three words out of the entire First Amendment and then do this mental gymnastic to claim that somehow it's okay to advocate for death and violence. Like, how?
The flyers have been removed, and the university is investigating this incident and working to ensure the safety of our community. Paul, I want to start with the breaking news. This seems to leave no doubt that this individual had an anti-ICE motive. And it seems like he could have been a copycat if he was looking at videos of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, so that's what happens when you do this stuff and you normalize it, right? And the NYPD, I did 15 years of counterterrorism. And when something happens, even anywhere around the world, you're always worried about a copycat locally. So that's why when something happens, you hear NYPD is putting cars in front of mosques, NYPD is putting cars in front of synagogues, because you're worried about this kind of follow-on effect. So all I would say is a couple of things real quick relative to the ICE thing here specifically. Number one, ICE is now in a position where you're going to have to do counter-surveillance. And this guy made it very clear. I want them now to be worried about their own safety. Well, you know what? I hate to say it, but he's going to get some of that.
ICE members are Americans. You're killing Americans. You're killing people that are benefiting from being part of ICE by here. Let me Google what you get for work. What are the benefits you get for working at ICE? So you get, holy crap, you get a lot. So let me go through this. Work for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, offers comprehensive federal employee benefits, including health, dental, vision, life, and long-term care insurance, along with retirement plans like Federal Employee Retirement System, FERS, and Thrift Savings Plan, TSP. That's a really good one. You also receive paid leave, paid federal holidays, and potentially performance-related bonuses alongside resources like the Employee Assistance Program, EAP, flexible spending accounts, and opportunities for continued education, and professional development. New and existing employees can also benefit from programs such as student loan repayment. Like, some of these people are just normal, ordinary Americans. They're not, like, police. And even so, they're still Americans. It's like, come on.
Because they have to do this to protect themselves. Understand?
Bro, I ain't even gonna lie. I'm some real good benefits right there, boy.
And that costs money, that costs resources. It could be put into the kind of law enforcement we all want to see, not only in the immigration area, but in violence, okay? This is going to be a draw from the federal government. Number two, we need a domestic terrorism law. I'm sorry, but we do.
We do. He's absolutely right about that. The other guy that we watched a couple days ago, or last week actually, said the same thing. We need to have a new domestic terrorism laws put in place, because that's what this is. It's domestic terrorism. The definition of terrorism is doing something to cause fear and politically motivate people. Or it's to cause fear in politically motivated people. That's what
All of our terrorism law. I got a piece coming out tomorrow on foxnews.com. So check it out if you have access to the website. The thing in our laws, it's a ghost in the machine. It has to be foreign. And everybody's worried about the fact that if we do domestic, each side's going to use it against the other. That's valid. I get that. But there's a way to construct it to go.
Yeah, if someone dies or gets shot and it's politically charged, then charge them with terrorism. Duh. Don't make something simple and turn it into something complicated that it doesn't need to be. Like, it's obvious when it's politically charged.
Guard against that. At some point, we have to stop kidding ourselves. You know what they charge Mangione with? Stalking in order to get the murder charge. That's not stalking. That is politically inspired murder. It is terrorism.
I don't really think the Mangione murder was politically charged. I don't think it was at all. I think that's a lie. I'll call that out all day. Luigi Mangione wanted to get back at the CEO, even though it was really stupid. It was really stupid. That was not the way to do it. Because all they did was replace the CEO. But that wasn't politically charged. The bro had health problems, and he kept trying to use his insurance, and they kept declining him. I mean, if your way of life is altered in a way, I understand why he did it, up until he killed somebody. That's where I'm like, nope, absolutely not.
We have to stop kidding ourselves. There is a terrorist group active in this country right now. It's amorphous. It's a bunch of different groups.
You're becoming ICE.
All of these groups. But to me, this is the equivalent right now of running, let's say, against the Soviets. There's attacks every week. We can't have this. We got to get serious.
Yeah, and that domestic terror law would give Pam Bondi federal jurisdiction, so it could make a difference in a lot of these cases. You know, Ainsley, going back to the Georgetown story and this, what some would interpret as calls for violence, or at least celebrating a killer. I mean, I went to Georgetown University, proud to have gone there, Hoya Sachs. I love my time there. And it resonates to hear that was the head of the college Republicans say he felt threatened. I was in that club, and, you know, you should be able to go intern in the White House or express your political view on that campus.
It's crazy that if you don't subscribe to the left's far progressive policies, then you're considered a threat, you're considered a target, you're considered a Nazi. And with these kinds of messages, this is what gives the copycats the ideas. They think it's okay to go and silence Republicans because they feel like they're a martyr, which is similar to a terrorism organization. Now they feel they're dying to please a god, you know? So they feel empowered. I know
that's a bit extreme. How the hell do you pull that out of there? What? Look, I'm not really for either side. I don't give a crap about either side of this. Unless people are dying, then I care. You can't just go out and kill somebody because you don't like something. That's not how the world works. Yo, if we lived like we did in the Wild West, nothing would be done. It would be absolute chaos. Like, come on. But that is an overactive imagination if I've ever seen one.
most are not.
I think, I'm not gonna lie, I think the Republicans are crazy, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. But at least they're not killing people, for fuck's sake.
And going to go out and shoot someone. But this is what puts ideas in those that are radical, and that's what's scary.
You could sit there and act like a cult all you want, but it doesn't really matter unless you go out and hurt somebody. Stop doing that.
We saw this all kind of bubble up. I know we're going to be talking about the Atlantic and how attacks from the left are outnumbering those from the right. There's a story today. But We saw that in the summer of 2020, where you had cops being injured, you had property damage, 574 riots. Kamala went on Stephen Colbert's show and said, rioters are not going to stop. They shouldn't stop. We're not going to stop supporting them. There are very few far left voices speaking out right now, and we need more leaders on the left to come out and say,
yeah, why isn't that a thing that's been going on? Like Ted Cruz obviously did, right? But why aren't more of the opposing side coming out and saying stop the death and violence? Because if it's a numbers thing, so if you get a mob big enough, even if you're wrong, you could still magically make it right. And that's kind of like the mob mentality. So if all these people really are, for what's going on, then why aren't more Republicans talking up and saying, stop advocating, we don't advocate for this. Shame on you. Why aren't they doing that? That's my concern.
This has got to stop
at this point.
And good for Georgetown for taking down those posters. Emily, that Atlanta
Democrat leadership in the House and the Senate,
54% in just June. It's nearly a 20-point rise.
Also,
71%. I don't like either side. I haven't. That's why I've never voted. I don't like either side. I don't like always choosing the lesser of two evils. The hell with that. I don't care about that. What's going to benefit the American people? Well, I know it doesn't. Advocating for death and violence, that damn sure doesn't. How about putting in universal basic income? How about making housing affordable? How about lowering the cost of the frickin' grocery bill? I don't care about either side. What's best for a normal American citizen, not the 1%? That's what I care about. I don't care about all this. This is crazy. Both sides are cooked. I don't understand, how anyone can. It just blows my mind, dude.